Mr. Ambassador, you were recently summoned by the British Foreign Office over drone incursions in Poland and Romania. How did you describe those activities?
Yeah, we did have this conversation with the senior officers from the Foreign Office. I explained that actually we do not target, we have no targets in Poland. We have no intention to target Poland. The distance is very far away from Russia. And most important is that we have no motives to do that at all. But on the other side, I can imagine that Kyiv authorities do have motives, very many of it, in order to improve relationship with Poland, in order to attract attention once again to the conflict and all of that.
Why were they there then, Mr. Ambassador, the drones?
Oh, well, we have seen many false flag operations from Kyiv authorities during these years. So looks like, I do not say it definitely, but it looks very much like that.
You're saying they're not Russian drones in Poland?
It might be. These are decoys, which are called Herberer. A lot of them are on the territory of Ukraine right now because they're flying, then they're falling down. You just have to pick it up, refill it, and then send again.
So it wasn't Russian activity in Poland?
I don't think so, no. It is Ministry of Defense definitely has said that it's not the case. If Poland or United Kingdom is prepared for a professional conversation for that, we are eager to do this. But unfortunately, they do not want to do this.
But what about Romania on the weekend?
No,
was that a Russian drone?
Romania, it is very vague. It is very vague what has happened because there is no determination of what happened, how it happened, and all of that. It's just some observation, so I have no comment on that.
So 20 drones in 2 different countries, no Russian involvement. You want me to believe that, Mr. Ambassador?
If you do not like, of course, it is up to you, but I'm just delivering you facts since we have no motives to do that.
It wasn't your first visit to the Foreign Office in the last month or so. You went towards the end of August after the bombing that hit some of the British Council in Kyiv. What was your response to that?
It was an unfortunate situation, very unfortunate situation. The fact is that right across the street of British Council, there was a big Ukrainian military enterprise, and it was under the target. It was targeted by that. And what happened with British Council, that was a simple collateral damage.
How would you describe relations between the United Kingdom and Russia at this time with your 2 visits to the Foreign Office in the space of a month?
Well, we do not have a relationship of that kind. We have contacts. And I think that Ambassador Casey in Moscow has also today contacts with the Foreign Ministry discussing bilateral things which still exist between us. And actually, on political side, economical side, trade, we do not have now a relationship.
And last,
not due to us, it's an initiative of British authorities.
And lastly on this, what was the mood of your 2 meetings? Were the British angry, hostile, friendly, professional? What word would you say?
I would say professional.
Yeah.
The best definition in that, of course, they do express their concern, especially about British Council.
Yes.
And I do understand that. Happily, it has happened very early morning. No people was hurt, no harm at all. But as I have to say, we target only military.
Yes. And you expressed regret for that?
I did. Yes, I did. Yes.
So Russia did regret that?
Fortunately, no one has perished or was, no person was...
Okay. I mean, the Polish Prime Minister, Donald Tusk, has said that the use of drones was the closest we have been to open conflict since World War II. How would you respond to that?
No, if they would like to blow up this thing, it is up to them, of course it is. They have closed the border with Russia, which is detrimental, of course, for those who are living over there and has to cross to that. It is exaggeration. It's an extreme exaggeration. What is happening in Ukraine, it is much more important and much more dangerous than what has happened with these drones.
Right. So they weren't your drones, so there won't be any more drone activity in NATO airspace, Mr. Ambassador?
It is not up to us. It is a lot of things.
Well, it would be up to Russia if they were to fire.
It is lots of things are happening in it. We stand for diplomatic solution as soon as possible, of course, to work it out. But as we see that European countries, including the United Kingdom, they still would like to reinforce Ukraine, as they are saying right now, a steel porcupine, which continues to be a threat for Russia. I don't think that the right course to settle it is.
I had the privilege of speaking with you a little over a year ago, and thank you again for this opportunity. Are we closer to peace than we were a year ago?
As President Putin has said, he does believe, that there is a possibility for finding a solution to the conflict, appropriate solution, diplomatic solution, but it is very difficult, I will say. We have laid out our position. It is clear-cut, absolutely. It is well known. It is known to Ukrainians and to Americans. But we do not see now a position of Ukrainians that is being developed towards the resolution of the conflict. They stand as well as UK authorities, as your Minister of Defense recently say, we continue to supply Ukraine that it can continue the war. So that's it. Okay. That's it, very self-evident, actually.
What was achieved by the Alaska meeting, in your view, Mr. Ambassador?
I think that we have achieved certain common points with President Trump. My president and President Trump has entirely discussed the situation, and they have found some common ground on it, how to proceed and how to settle it. The problem is now with Europe, with Ukraine, which, as I have said, which is targeted mostly to reinforce Ukraine instead of finding a political solution to the conflict. It should be not a temporary solution. It should be not just a short stop in this war, as many appeal to us. It should be a robust, a long-term, of course, and a resilient agreement which will provide guarantees for Ukraine, which will provide guarantees for Russia and neighboring countries, the whole Europe, and it should be resolved once and forever.
When we last spoke, of course, the elections hadn't taken place. What has the arrival of President Trump at the White House brought to the prospect of peace?
That was a dramatic change of understanding of the situation.
Positive or negative?
Positive, because it looks like President Trump understands much more about the grassroots of this conflict, which differs from many other leaders in Europe especially. And we shall see what's going on. Perhaps in tomorrow's conversation in Chequers, he will be able to deliver some of the views, of the points to Prime Minister Starmer.
You're right. We're talking on the first full day of President Trump's visit here to the United Kingdom. How close are we to President Trump going to Moscow?
He is invited. He is invited by President Putin to visit Moscow. At the moment, I don't think that it is in the work, but I think that there will be some contacts in the coming week in the margins of General Assembly in New York on the subject, or not on this subject in particular, but on bilateral relations.
Would your President Putin, would he be open to meeting with President Zelensky face to face?
This is high in the air, this idea, but one should think what is going to happen on that if they will meet. Because if they will meet simply that President Zelensky will take these photo opportunities and say a lot of hate words towards Putin, and they will split, so we will not be able to, for a long time, to find another outcome of it. This type of meeting, we do not deny, it can happen, but it should be carefully prepared, and usually it is a common practice in diplomacy. Presidents meet when they have to resolve 1, 2, or 3 issues which will finalize the bigger picture, the bigger agreement, treaty perhaps, or whatever it will be. That will make sense, but for that we will need a preparation, good preparation, many sessions between our delegations over there, and common positions that will come like that, not like that.
And I sense, therefore, that's quite a long time away, Mr. Ambassador.
We, as I have said in the beginning, that we do have a position. It has been laid out by the President a year ago, and we stick to it. But we have not seen a position of Ukrainian authorities which can bring us closer to the resolution.
You mentioned President Trump. He's going to be telling NATO allies they should impose more tariffs on India and China as they purchase Russian oil. They should stop importing Russian energy. How do you react to that?
This is highly problematic, as I understand, even for Britain, since it just concluded an agreement with India on free trade. That was a negotiations that lasted during my time here for 5 or 6 years, and very difficult agreement. And if Britain will be capable to do that, I will be very astonished, of course.
Right, but
surprised.
The European Union is buying less of Russian gas, from 45% 2 years ago, 13% last year. Your economy must be hurting.
Hardly, because we are selling our gas to China, and we are going to sell. We have now one pipe, and we are constructing the other pipe. We have an agreement to send about an amount which is comparable to what we have been saying to Europe earlier.
But your economy is hurting. Your GDP growth over the past 3 years, Mr. Ambassador, was 4.1% in 2023, 4.1% in 2024. 1.5% last year. And these are figures from your own finance minister, Anton, and I apologize for pronunciation, Anton Silanov. Your economy is hurting, Mr. Ambassador.
Would you like me to compare it with the growth of British economy?
We can talk about that in a moment, but you're the Russian ambassador.
Like.
Yeah, no,
yes, well,
but this war is hurting your country.
No, in the current circumstances, it is still an achievement, I will say. Figures that you have named.
From your own finance minister.
Yeah. But it is much more than Eurozone is doing, much more than Germany, France, UK, Italy, and all of that.
But respectfully, Mr. Ambassador, you've gone from 4.1 to 1.5 because of the war.
It's a long conversation, Nick, frankly speaking. It is. There was a boost by defense industry on it. This boost is coming, of course, to a certain limit, but unemployment is the lowest in Europe now and among many countries.
According to the Ministry of Defense, the British Ministry of Defense, more than 1 million Russian troops have been killed or injured since the invasion. We hear that there are rising prices, food costs. How have Russians benefited from this conflict?
It is only Ministry of Defense is capable to provide the real figures on both sides, so it doesn't. It is not worse. But the beneficial thing is we had a serious fundamental problem for our security. Now we are trying to resolve with this fundamental problem to our security, and once and forever, as soon as we resolve it, it will be much easier to continue to create beneficial conditions for our economy, of course.
But there is pressure, surely you do accept that now, that we need to have some kind of peace deal.
Absolutely.
Some would say Donald Trump has the language of peace, whereas from Russia it's the language of escalation.
Nick, no one is happy that the killing of people continues in Ukraine. As well as my country. Of course, we would like to set it, to finish it up, to wrap it up, to have an agreement. But we need a serious agreement, not the sort of guarantees that is being done by coalition of the willing, which we will not accept at all.
You won't accept the coalition of the willing?
Coalition of the willing is trying to make out of Ukraine, as I said, this steel porcupine. It means that they would like to preserve on a certain territory of Ukraine the same government, with the same anti-Russian views, which suppresses Russian population, all that side. So we cannot accept that, of course.
How close to a border would you allow NATO forces in a peacekeeping role?
NATO forces cannot play any peacekeeping role. Peacekeeping role can only be played by United Nations, and that is all. I have very strong doubts that we are going to accept any presence of NATO contingents on the Ukrainian territory, because we simply are not going
not even
into
100 miles from the border, Mr. Ambassador.
We will not go into this agreement, this type of agreement, which will stipulate a presence of NATO bases, NATO troops on the territory of Ukraine. So this is all in vain. This is all in vain, all efforts by the coalition. We need serious security guarantees, which can be provided by, for instance, by the state members of the Security Council.
In July, here in the United Kingdom, 3 men were found guilty of an arson attack on a London warehouse linked to Ukraine. It's believed by a Russian mercenary group. How often are proxies carrying out attacks in Britain?
I know that in Britain they like very much spy stories. I have read a lot by different authors. I like them. And
So that is the stuff of James Bond?
It's not only James Bond, but all of the others. It is
okay.
I appreciate this type of thinking because it is interesting for me.
And British security sources suggesting Russia has been involved in fueling the channel crossings, providing papers and documents, the small boat crossings, the migrant crossings. There is a suggestion that the Russians are helping to give the migrants papers to get to the United Kingdom.
Very interesting. First time I hear it from you, but it sounds funny, really.
It is
for those
again,
who are coming from France.
It is again the stuff of James Bond.
Isn't it French officers, perhaps it is, but we do not have our Russian officers.
So that's not true either. Okay. Let's talk a little bit, if we can, about what hopefully might look like peace. What will happen with the 20,000 children who I read have been forcibly removed from Russia?
I did expect this question. This is very funny.
Well, respectfully, it's not funny, is it?
Okay, let's stick to the facts. All these slogans has been developed by Ukrainians, about 90,000. What is in the reality? They have given us a list during these negotiations in Istanbul, a list of names. There are 339 names only in this list. We are now checking it out. We have found out that 30 out of this list, 30 names out of this list, has never been there someplace in Germany or they are grown up and so on. We continue to verify these 300. Just remember, please, and take a note, 300, not 90,000.
I'm writing it down, Mr. Ambassador.
Which has nothing in common with reality.
But I have to counter you, Mr. Ambassador. Save the Children says over 20,000 Ukrainian children have been forcibly transferred to Russia. The White House in August 2025 talked of Russia's abduction of over 20,000 Ukrainian children. The Yale School of Public Health Humanitarian Research Lab identified 200. These are all wrong.
It is all from Yale University.
No, Save the Children, respectfully, Mr. Ambassador, is not.
It is all. But I am saying what is a serious professional conversation about the children, which is taking place between Russian side and Ukrainian side. The Ukrainian side is capable only to name 339. That
children.
Is all. Children, yes, exactly. The list of children that are missing from Ukraine. Where are the others?
So where are those 339 children that you would concede? Where are they?
We have identifying them, and we are passing them to Ukrainian parents. If we are founding children representatives, they are in dialogue between Russia and Ukraine.
So all these agencies are wrong, just to clarify. The charity, the White House, and the Yale School of Public Health,
it is up to them. Well, please give us names, we will try to find it.
Well, I don't know if they have 20,000.
So far, officially, Ukraine has given us, as I have said, 339 out of this list. 30 already has been checked and not found. We will continue, but we are identifying one by one from this list people, children, and giving it back to Ukraine if there are parents who are ready to, or sub-relatives who are prepared and ready to accept them. We have no knowledge about other 90,000, which are repeatedly being published of the press. If there will be names or coordinates, or we can identify it, please give it to us.
All right, okay. Well, I'm not able to, but I'm sure this will be relayed to the agencies.
Never,
okay.
Absolutely.
You tell me that Russia wants peace, the world wants peace. Could President Zelensky lead Ukraine post-war?
Hardly. He can lead it post-war Ukraine because it is a phenomenon, but one should understand that if it will be an agreement and war will come to an end, he will have to delete martial law, and momentarily he has to go to elections. And he will be defeated in the elections, it is absolutely clear.
How do you know that?
Well, it is the polls are showing it, is, of course, to that. It means that he can live only in a state of war during that time, and he continue to do that. We will have difficulties in signing agreement with him, because otherwise another guy who will be elected after him will come and say that it is inconsistent and it is null, actually. This agreement is simply insignificant on it.
Hopefully, we'll have a conversation in around a year's time, if you invite me, Will the war
Please,
still?
we can do it earlier.
I
Why
would
not?
appreciate
It is,
that. Will the war still be going on, Mr. Ambassador?
I hope that sooner or later it will come to an end, and we will find appropriate diplomatic political solution to all these difficulties. But for that, we will need on board not only President Trump, but we will need on board also Prime Minister Starmer, Ursula von der Leyen, President Macron, and all the others, that they should concentrate their efforts not in reinforcement of Ukraine, but on finding an appropriate diplomatic and political solution, means agreement, as I have said before.
Coming to the end of our interview, let's finish on a slightly lighter note of a desperately serious conversation. The World Cup is taking place in North America, and President Trump is said keen to invite President Putin to come to the World Cup. Is that something that would interest your president?
There are different ideas. In Alaska, or earlier probably, they talked about the possibility of hockey, ice hockey match.
Ice hockey, right.
Between US and Russia, like earlier it happened before. You remember that,
yes,
in your age, when it was a tremendous interest for everybody. And a football game, as well as I understand, is now at work.
Yes, a football tournament, yes.
Football tournament. I hope that in the coming context we are going to discuss that and we will come to certain.
So it is something that President Putin would be interested in, or an ice hockey match?
Sure, yes.
Closer links?
Closer links, but I think that they will have an opportunity to meet before that in ASEAN and other international forums.
When might that be, do you think the two presidents could meet?
This is at work, so I do not want to speculate on that.
Okay, this calendar year perhaps?
Hopefully, yeah.
They could meet this calendar year?
Hopefully, yeah.
Because lastly, the only way peace is brought about is talks, right?
Let's hope about that, yes, of course. Everybody it should be finished, of course. It is definitely, and as soon as possible, the conflict should be, but everybody should come to that with constructive suggestions and proposals.
I'm grateful for your time. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you very much.